Hi everyone, welcome to Netgate Chemistry. So in the last lecture we discussed about ideal hybridization, non-ideal hybridization and the case of no hybridization, in which we had a little bit knowledge about the Dragos compounds. So in the last lecture when we were discussing about the case of no hybridization, what we saw that here phosphorus was present which was very big in size. Surrounding that were the hydrogen atoms which were very small in size. Also there was electronegativity difference between the phosphorus and the hydrogen, and there was the presence of lone pair. Also I mentioned that lone pair was required for both your non-ideal as well as no hybridization cases. So based on these observations and based on the existence of molecules, we have some of the rules which are followed by our Dragos compounds for their formation. So today we are going to discuss about the rules for the formation of Dragos compounds. What are the rules which are followed by Dragos compounds for their formation? So remember, this is the case of no hybridization. So for the molecules to exist without hybridization, and these are some of the rules which they have to follow. The first rule is that there should be presence of lone pair. Lone pair should be present. This is a necessary condition, first necessary condition. Second is that the size of the central atom should be big so that it can accommodate the small atoms around it. So the second condition is size of central atom should be big. So the third condition is the side atoms should be small in size so that they are not facing any repulsions from each other. If they're going to be bigger in size, then they will be feeling repulsions from each other and then they have to undergo hybridization. So the third condition is that atoms attached to the central atom should be small. They should be small in size so that the central atom can accommodate all those small atoms around it. The fourth and the last condition is that the atoms attached to the central atom should have less electronegativity than the central atom. So to be on the safe side, we say that electronegativity of the side atoms should be less than 2.5. Okay, so we'll see all the possible molecules which are the cases of no hybridization. So we'll see boron family, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine families. See, in boron family and carbon family there are the absence of lone pair. Lone pairs are absent, so the families of boron and carbon, they cannot form Dragos compounds. Now comes the case of nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine. These three atoms are very small in size. These are small in size to behave as central atom for the case of no hybridization, so these cannot form Dragos compounds, but the members of their family like nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, etc. See, fluorine family cannot participate, but here the nitrogen family, the oxygen family, it can participate. Why? Because they are bigger in size. See, they are big in size, they have the lone pair, the central atoms, they are big, the atoms which are attached should be small. That was the third case, that so we'll attach hydrogens with them, DEH2, SEH2, SH2. Okay, now side atoms are also small and their electronegativities are also less. See, fluorine has electronegativity value of 4, oxygen has 3.5 and nitrogen has 3. So the electronegativity of hydrogen is less than 2.5, we know that. So these are the only molecules which are known as Dragos compounds. Okay, so all of them have theta nearly equal to 90° with each other. So just like phosphorus and 3 hydrogens attached to it, they were having angles of 90°, and here was the lone pair. Just like pH3, all these exist. Here lone pair are present, bigger central atom is present, small side atoms are present which have electronegativity less than 2.5. So all of these compounds are your Dragos compounds. Okay, so these were all your Dragos compounds. Now, okay, Dragos compounds are over now. So the next topic is determination of hybridization of compounds. Determination of hybridization. In order to find out the hybridization of a given compound, we have two methods basically. First is your absolute method, and second is your steric number method. The absolute method we have studied earlier. That was like Sp to the power I using hybridization index. I was the hybridization index. Okay, here we needed only the value of theta or maybe the value of I. Using that we can find the absolute hybridization of any molecule, which can never be wrong. Okay, this is a very accurate method to find the hybridization of a compound. The second method is the steric number method, which is an errorful method. This is an errorful method, meaning it has many errors, due to which it has many limitations also. That also we're going to discuss. So in order to use the steric number method, we have to find out the steric number of given compound. How to find the steric number? There are two methods to find the steric number. First method is just add up the number of lone pairs and number of sigma bonds. Okay, add the number of lone pair and the number of sigma bonds, you will get your steric number. This is your first method. This is called your structure method. That is, with the help of structure we are going to find out the steric number of the compound. Okay, and second method is direct method. Direct method, in which what we do, steric number is equals to 1/2 V plus M minus C plus A, in which V is your number of valence electrons in central atom of the molecule. M is number of monovalent side atoms. The monovalent atoms will be generally H and all your halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. These will be the monovalent atoms that will be attached. Next is your C, which is cationic charge, that is your positive charge. A is your anionic charge or the negative charge on the molecule. So using this formula you can also find out the steric number. If you know the structure of the molecule, you can simply add the lone pairs and the number of sigma bonds. And if you don't know the exact structure of the molecule, you can use this formula, that is number of valence shell electrons of central atom plus number of monovalent atoms attached minus cationic charge plus anionic charge. This will give you the steric number of the molecule, and using the steric number we can find out the hybridization of the molecule. I have a table of steric numbers and the hybridizations. Using that we can find out the electronic geometry of the molecule. So this is the table. Here are the steric numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here are the hybridization. For steric number 2, you can have hybridization sp, pd or sd. The geometry will be linear. For steric number 3, hybridization will be sp2. Geometry will be trigonal planar. For steric number 4, hybridization can be sp3, d3s, dsp2 or sp2d. For these two geometries, for these two hybridization, geometry is tetrahedral. For them it is square planar. For 5, similarly for 6, 7 and 8, you can look up to all of them. And here I have solved 5 of the questions. You can take the screenshot and then solve for yourself also. And I think that's it for the video. In next video we are going to discuss about the limitations of the steric number method, and we'll continue with the next topic onwards. Okay, thank you so much for watching.